Hello, thanks for joining us on another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. Today, we're on our home turf here, Sandia Mountain Natural History Center, but we're looking for a fairly rare organism here at the center. It's something that grows much higher on the mountain, usually a few thousand feet higher, like 9,000 feet or so, and it's the Douglas fir. Now a lot of people are like, well, what's so special about Douglas fir? Well, stay tuned to find out. So while we're on the hunt for Douglas fir, came across these tracks. These are all squirrel tracks. You can actually see in some of them, you can actually see their toe pattern. Those are squirrel. So the Douglas fir was first named for English botanist David Douglas. Now, an interesting fact about David Douglas is he was later gored to death by a bull. I didn't see where, I would presume in Spain, but I guess I shouldn't assume about these sorts of things. The Latin name for Douglas fir is Pseudotsuga menzii, named after Archibald Menzies, actually a rival of David Douglas, but who was not gored by a bull at any time. Also, I'm going to guess that. But you may have heard the pseudo part in that name, and the reason for that is Douglas firs are not actually true firs. They're actually in the pine family. So that's why you hear pseudo in the name. We have found what we're looking for. A Douglas fir. Remind you of Christmas yet? So it's called a fir because the needles are actually flat and friendly like a fir, but it's actually in the pine family. That's one of the ways that we know it's a Douglas fir, though. It has flat needles. They're singular on the branch. They also spiral all the way around the branch. So that is the indicator of a Douglas fir. There might be some question out there as to why we're making a whole video about Douglas fir, one of the most common trees in the American West. Well, supposedly it makes for a very good tea. Very high in vitamin C, very high in antioxidants. So supposedly pretty good for you. So we're actually going to make a tea and see if it's any good. So to make our tea, we're actually going to use snow. Now, if you're going to use this method, if you're going to be winter camping and you're going to count on the snow for your water, that's fine. But make sure you carry plenty of fuel to melt that snow. We're going to fill this completely up, and you'll see how little water that actually makes. We're going to melt our snow using a Swedish spirit burner. That's called a Trangia stove. It's really good because in the wintertime, pressurized fuels and all may not work very well due to the cold temperatures. And then, of course, here in New Mexico, that's exacerbated by elevation. So using something like a spirit burner or white gas is going to work better for you. While we're waiting for the water to boil, what I read about this tea was we want to break up the needles as much as possible. So we're going to process them down, chop them up to get the best tea we can. So now that we're boiling, we're going to put our needles in there. Let it steep and boil. See how this turns out. Now that we have it boiling, and it's important to boil because we don't know what kind of parasites or bacteria or whatever was in that snow. We definitely don't want to get sick. Now we're going to use a cotton cloth to help strain out any dirt and pine needles and all that might be in our tea. And then we'll try it out. Well, it's not too bad. It does kind of taste like a boiled tree, but I'm not a big hot drink guy in the first place, so I don't know, it's not bad. It's not the worst tea I've ever had.